living intentionally. I'm actually live streaming today. So I really thought I was gonna go to church today, and this is sort of my church outfit, but also not because I was gonna wear um, a silver wig also, which softens my horns. They're cow horns, and my shirt is a cow shirt. It says I like grass. It's like really important that if you're eating beef, if you're eating cows, which like please don't eat cows. But if you're eating beef, it's really important that you eat grass-fed beef. Um, and nothing but. So, okay. I I just had a 3 hour conversation with my mom on the phone. Like this whole day though. Like I don't even know, like I'm like starting in the middle, I guess. I really thought I was gonna be able to go to church because I felt great yesterday. I did art. I stood out in the storm. I danced. Smile DK has other good songs. Who knew? And cleaned my kitchen. And I I woke up and I had such a bad headache today, and it was weird. But like as soon as the headache got better, I sat up and was like, oh, like mom, and I called my mom, which happened to be at 11:11, and she answered, and we had like just like a hangout session on the phone, and it was so cool and it was so good. But like I feel um obligated, like entirely obligated for real, to tell you about all the things that she told me because I didn't know, like I have a friendship circle, a social exposure that is very transsexual agenda positive, and I had I had only heard, you know, the bad side of things from that, and had no awareness whatsoever of the good side of things. Like, I mean, I'm blown away. I haven't fact checked this, um, so like, I plan to, but also like, I don't do a whole lot on the internet, but I'm gonna tell you anyway, and fact check it yourself, but like, Trump, like no matter what you think of him, like he is being like unprecedentedly transparent. I mean, like we are watching live streams of him in the Oval Office talking to Russian bad guys. It's so crazy. It's so cool. So, okay. I told my mom about the good day that I had, and that I couldn't go to church today, but that's okay. Like the time, I think it was like 2 weeks ago Sunday, that I was able to go to church, it was like, oh, God has seen fit to allow me to enter the church this day. I am so joyous. And I sat down, and Pastor Joey was like, well, this is going to be a little different today, just so you know, not really a normal sermon. And it was just a tutorial of how to minister. Like, yeah, God wanted me there for that. Of course, he does. And I want to minister too, God, like I do. I got a taste of that street church ministry in KCMO, and I'm just like, it just wet my whistle. Like, I just want more of that. So my mom told me that she went to church in Floribama when she was in Floribama, and it was on the beach, and there was a bar there, and like such a cool church experience. Like it's so interesting, like what uh like different church experiences you can have. Of course, I use church as a verb. In fact, when I write or text the word I replaced the U with a V because church is a verb. It's not a place that you go to, it's something that you do with people. And I'm like trying to think like how, I don't know exactly, because I have notes. I have like 6 pages of notes from the phone call with my mom. Um, so, do, do, do. Oh, when I told her that I put on the butterfly song by Smile DK yesterday, and that's what I started dancing to, and then just like kept dancing to Smile DK. She was she was like, the butterfly song, and I was like, oh yeah, like you will recognize this if you hear it. Like I played it like incessantly when I was a teenager, and I sang it a little bit, and she didn't say that she did remember it or didn't remember it. She was like, where did you hear it? And I was like, well, it was like a one-hit wonder, and like I think it might have been on the radio for like a minute, and I know they had a music video, but we didn't have cable for me to see a music video, so you wouldn't have seen the music video either probably, but it was on the DDR arcade game, which like probably you would have heard at the bowling alley that we lived by. And anyway, so somehow she brought up Elon Musk, um, and I told her that I pretty much ignore him because he does not seem like good vibes, and I pretty much ignore politics. Like it's just like bad vibes, you know. That was my opinion of it, and and she was like, oh, and I'm like, well, yeah, like I feel like he's like something's off with him. Like I don't want to give my energy to Elon Musk, but like you should know that when he did the arm motion, that people were like, oh, it's a Nazi salute. I was online, like I was getting online for like a minute to look up something that I needed for an art reference, like a project that I was working on. And like it was the first I've been on the computer like all day, maybe in 2 days. And I just like whatever I was searching for personally, it brought up all of this Elon Musk stuff, and I was just like, what are the odds that I would be here for like the current event, most like news thing happening in the now? Like I'm usually really late to that game. Like I hear by word of mouth. It's got to be really big fucking news for me to hear because I ignore politics seriously. And yeah, so I was like, well, okay. People think that he's giving the Nazi salute, but this is in my awareness. So like, why is this? And how is this God? And how can I serve God by paying attention to Elon Musk right now? It's like if I can pay attention to Elon Musk like under like the station or like intention of serving God, then like all right, I'll do that, you know. And I looked into it, and I was like, all right, people think that's a Nazi salute. Like one thing I know about the Nazis is that they stole from other cultures, and like I mean, not even of like every other culture. The swastika is like an iteration of like the most universal. Where's my voice going right now? That's wild. The most universal symbol expression of in written history, every culture. Like research this, please fact check me. Like, but I'm not wrong on this, I promise you. Like in antiquity, like they took a symbol that is intended to mean peace and love and prosperity, and like a spiritual symbol of our universe, and they like poisoned it, you know, like they steal and pass it off as their own, and then we hate it or whatever. So I was like, so if the Nazis did that, like who else has done that, you know? And it was Romans. And I was like, wait a minute, Elon Musk like wore something that was totally Roman inspired. Like you gotta say what you want, like, and I will fucking like, I devil's advocate, that's what I do. Like it's just what I do. It's just what I do. Uh, But like, I'll take up for Hitler too. Like, we can have that debate if you want. That's fun for me. But like, you know, Nazis were well dressed. Like, that was some good fashion. I love fashion. I love fashion. I don't love Nazis, obviously. I don't love genocide. I also don't love that the only genocide that we harp on is the fucking Nazi genocide and not the indigenous tribe genocide. Just saying. Just saying. But yeah. So he like actually has a special interest in like Rome, and whatever he wore, like that was totally Roman inspired, and like probably that sunk into his awareness, so like he might have, um I think just like where it would be in his awareness is not as something that his subconscious or conscious ever associates with Nazism. And so it wasn't an off limits thing for Elon Musk. He wasn't aware that it was a Nazi thing. He didn't have it in his awareness as that. If there's like any, like what motivates us to gesticulate subconsciously as we're communicating? I don't know, and that is like that would be a fun thread to pull, because like there's times I've been just like gesticulating while I'm talking, and someone is like, "Oh, you know sign language?" It's like, "No, I don't know sign language." And like, "You're doing a little bit of sign language." It's like, "Oh, okay." Like I possibly, like the movie Limitless, sign language has seeped into my subconscious in a way that when I'm gesticulating, I'm subconsciously doing sign language, but like I have no awareness of that. But yeah, anyway, so like I tell her that like I don't hate Elon Musk or anything, but like I also like played devil's advocate for him like hardcore, because I was like, that was brought to my attention. I was like, how is this God? So I got online, and like every time there was comments about it, and like, just in comment sections, I just like live in the comment sections. I don't know if you know me or not, but like I'm just living in the comment section. That's where people are enjoying me too, like sometimes it's my biting wit, sometimes it's my like sincere compassion, sometimes it's my objective perspective, sometimes it's information. I have a wealth of information, especially in so much as how to utilize nutrition, food, diet as medicine, and medicine specifically to replace all mental health pharmaceutical medicines. So yeah, um, I don't know. I'm just I'm just a punk. Anyway, um, so I told her I didn't like Elon Musk, but she was like, "Do you know about Doge?" And I was like, "I don't know about Doge. Like, it seems bad." And she said that it's to find fraud and eliminate it. And at first they were saying something else instead of fraudulent spending. They were calling it waste. Like that's something that it's in the public sphere as waste. But it's to find fraudulent spending in the government and eliminate it. And so the social security system was showing that people were collecting disability at 90, 100, 300 years of age. And I was like, wait a minute, are you serious? Like, she's like, yeah, they're like, there are people or entities that are using the social security numbers of deceased people in order to defraud the government. And I was like, dude, mom, that's an episode of The Simpsons from like the 90s. Some corrupt political person was using dead people's votes in Springfield in order to win an election or something. Like, I swear that's a Simpsons episode. And she was like, really? Simpsons episode from the 90s? And I'm like, yeah, 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 it is. So that's fun. and that so like North Carolina had like major river damage, like a natural disaster, and Biden didn't send support to that. And she said that's because FEMA had already been spent entirely on providing support to illegal immigrants, like putting people up in hotels. And like my brain wants to break when I'm thinking that we would be prioritizing illegal immigrants over legal citizens, period. But like I get like enraged level about it when I think that they are housing illegal immigrants and there are thousands of war veterans homeless on the streets in the United States of America. That's fucking insane. And there was no ability to support a natural disaster to the citizens of our nation because FEMA was spent on illegal immigrants. That's not a good thing. So it's like, oh yeah, okay, DOGE seems good. And she's like, yeah, DOGE is good. And she said, no one in DOGE is getting paid to do it. They are all wealthy people and they're highly intelligent businessmen. Like apparently like some guy with like an oil empire like left his whole life. He's devoting all his attention to this. And when he was interviewed about it, like, well, and she's telling me this and I'm like, well, yeah, that makes sense. Like the smartest, most wealthy people on the planet like are devoted to this. Of course they are. This is late stage capitalism. It's all burning down. If we don't figure this out, we are all fucking doomed. So like yeah. And she said, yeah, the oil guy was interviewed and he like pretty much said what you just said. Like why would anybody even be questioning why he would walk away from his family, his life, and his business to solely put his energy and attention into DOGE? It's because we are doomed without that. And yeah, so they're not even getting paid, and they're sacrificing other elements of their life in order to participate in this. And so then she said like China charges, no, there was something else, but I don't have like the notes down. I'm reading my notes. China charges tariffs on products like car manufacturing that is ridiculous. And I'm like, yeah, we crippled Detroit to send it all overseas. Just like, you know, I'm so pissed. And she's like, yeah, well, that's the good news. Like Trump is like, keep your car manufacturing. I'm not going to buy cars from you at all. And Trump is bringing car manufacturing back here. She said that he's that was later, but he's steel manufacturers, that there's steel manufacturers going to be in Michigan. I'm okay, yeah, Hyundai is coming back to Michigan. Like car manufacturers back in America. That's so cool. He's getting Apple to move back from China. But yeah, so in investigating the fraudulent spending in the government, which is what DOGE is doing, they discovered that the most fraud they found, more predominantly, was extreme leftist spending and mostly transsexual agenda. And even if you're for the transsexual agenda, I don't think that you would be like fighting to ensure that Sesame Street in Thailand and Bangkok has a transsexual message in it. Like that's fucking weird. That's fucking weird. But of course, my take on this, like it is, I don't say transgender. It's a transsexual agenda. It's an insidious plot. It's a current day cult. That's what it is. It's cult tactics. Parents are having to learn how to become deprogrammers, like people that got brainwashed by a cult have to be deprogrammed from that and approach it as if their child is being preyed upon by cult leaders in order to survive the teenage years. Like, it's pretty ridiculous. Um, so Trump canceled the entire Department of Education because it was almost all, she said all, I'm going to say almost all, she's probably exaggerating, it couldn't be all, almost all liberal leftist allocation to the transsexual agenda. And so that means now that it goes to state government to determine the curriculum, and that is no longer a federal affair. So that's not a bad thing, because it's been a fucking nightmare to watch, like, teachers, adult individuals on YouTube and TikTok, on the internet, proudly exclaiming that they're discussing their sexual preferences in the presence of third graders. Like, do what you want to do with your body when your brain is fully developed, which, by the way, isn't until about age 25, so I'm not exactly like, once you're 18, like, green light, no. But, like, protect the children. There is no such thing as a trans child. There is no such thing as a trans child. And of course, I don't know if you know me or not, if you're new here, I fully identified as a male individual. If I'm identifying as human, it is first identifying as a male individual. I lived with that belief. You couldn't have told me otherwise, but I also never tried to convince anybody ever in my whole life. I thought I knew who I was deep inside, really was, that no one could see, that I was a guy, that I should have been born a boy, right? And I didn't talk about it. I didn't need to, because I knew who I was, and I didn't need to conform to anything or change my appearance. Like, so yeah, I lived probably about 25 years of my life identified as a male, having been born a female, and I actually healed from that, and I recognized it as something wrong, as something delusional. I recognized it as a mental illness. Even as a child, this began when I was like 4 years old. I was not so foolish or deluded as to think that I could become a boy. That's not possible. And never made the most feeble attempt at it. In fact, I identified as a boy, but dresses are comfy and fun. I like to spin, so, I yeah, so I have a really unique perspective in that, like, had I been born in this climate, I might have had a very different experience with my identity and my sexuality than I did have having been born 80s, 90s, Gen X. Okay, so the thing about this is that my mom is a boomer and has never had any understanding or compassion for my plight as a zennial. Like, the apathy that kids have today because it's so obvious that this is a late stage capitalism and we're fucked and you can't get ahead no matter how hard you try. Like, I looked around the world when I was like, I don't know, 7 or something, and I was like, oh no, this is we're doomed. So, like, I had that apathy. I had that apathy because I was so intelligent and aware of the situation, of reality and the political system and everything. And my mom, has never been able to understand that, because the boomer generation, like, that was a time of such prosperity. And she's talking to me, and she was like, this is so exciting, because like with Trump in office, everything he's doing, you're going to experience this in your lifetime, Mindy. You're going to know what it's like for the nation to be prosperous, for people to be happy, for there to be a sense of peace just among people in society. Except it's going to be even better. She said it's going to be even better than when she was coming up, you know? And that's true. That absolutely is true. Because we are like light years more progressive. Okay. So that was really cool that my mom is like talking to me, like connecting, like she's like so certain that now, like, she's leaving the world and I'm going to experience a better world. Like, that's so cool. How cool is that? Like, you always want, like, to leave the world to the children, like, in a good state, right? That's never been an option, but with Trump it is. Yeah, so like, I don't know how we got onto it, but wind turbines apparently, I've never heard this, which is weird because I've signed like every single petition of any whale and some dolphins that are in captivity in any kind of Sea World, Sealand, amusement park, marine life zoo, because like my compassion and interest for the preservation, protection, and reverence of whales is like immense. It's like whale sized. And my mom says that wind turbines in the ocean are not just killing birds in the sky, but they're killing whales. And Trump is like, fuck those wind turbines. Fuck wind turbines. We're not doing that. There's all these birds dying, whales dying now. Like some mechanism like in the ocean, like where, like how they're in the water, some kind of something is interrupting the sonar of whales. It's killing whales. So like now these wind turbines are just gonna like stand like skeletons of this energy shift that never really got off the ground, like all around the world and like in the ocean, just these huge useless hunks of metal. I think that's fascinating. Isn't that just like a beautiful dystopian post-apocalyptic landscape? Anyway, so yay Trump for saving whales and birds. And the I didn't realize, like, I knew that when Biden bartered away our energy resource, that was like really fucking stupid. I didn't realize it was like all of our energy reserves. But yeah, mom says that's what that was. He gave away all of our backup energy resource, and so Trump has no choice. You know, if we're operating as if free energy is not on the table, if we are going to operate, and that's kind of what we have to do, you know, like it's like, is this frustrating that we're not like all the way just like awake and aware? Like, yes, but this is the political arena, so like there is some fence sitting to be expected, right? Like these are good things, we're shifting in the right direction, but like, can we please acknowledge Tesla's work? And then like, ooh, what might be coming down the pipeline now that we have the SAR, the radar evidence of the 8 cylindrical chambers wrapped with spiral pathways like copper coils underneath the Pyramid of Giza, right? Like, might not be possible to ignore Tesla and his contribution and free energy much longer, right? It's a good thing. It's a good thing. But for now, wind turbines ain't cutting it. That's not working. and we need to not be dependent and fucking like begging at the feet of other countries. Like America's been in a really bad position for a long time, and countries have been taking advantage of that because the Biden administration was just a fucking joke. I think we can all agree on that, right? Hopefully. Anyway, countries have been preying on us for years, and that is done. That is done. But the thing is that, Trump is saying, drill, baby, drill. You gotta drill for oil. And so much of the reason that we're not drilling for oil where we could be is because of preservation initiatives, like intentions to protect wildlife, like some like redbird squirrel, that's something I just made up, is going to go extinct, or it's going to have its population dwindle, or it's going to have to find a new home or be displaced, like whatever. It's like some like wildlife thing that somebody is like, this land is sacred because this animal lives here and we have to protect this animal. And I personally am of the opinion that like animals go extinct. It's been happening. Like it happens. Like I don't want them to go extinct. That's not ideal. Displacement could also be like really problematic. I mean, look at how our relationship with deer, how's that going, and well, like wildcats and stuff in California, right? But like I definitely prioritize the lives of humans and the survival of society over a rare red-furred squirrel, you know? So like I'm not pro killing animals. Like we should protect animals, but like it's like someone is finally operating like we're sitting in end stage fucking capitalism. And I've been staring down the barrel of late stage capitalism all my fucking life. So this is fucking exciting, man. This is so cool. This is so cool. Like it is, like it has not been time to fuck around, but everybody's just been fucking around. So again, yay Trump. It's good to not be dependent on other countries. Like I would rather that not be oil and drilling for oil and fracking bad and everything, But something has to be done. And so she said that it's like the most amazing thing. He's got multiple steel manufacturers returning to our nation. Praise God. That is jobs. I mean, it just like it just feels like a total like healing and reversal of like the greatest injustices to our nation. And it's just like we watched Detroit deteriorate, and to think now we're going to see the other side of that, and watch areas of the United States like flourish and grow and become healthy areas, healthy ecosystem, and jobs provided, and peace, like that, like all of that is going to be good for the drug epidemic that we're facing. Like I don't think you can just, it's not just the opioid epidemic. I don't think we can say that it's just an opioid epidemic. Like, yeah, fentanyl's like really bad, but I mean, for the most part, meth addicts just became fent addicts. That's, I mean, taking a survey of the land as far as I can see and reach in real life, like no one was talking about it when it was just the meth epidemic. You can high function on meth. You can't do that on fent. Um, anyway, that's not what Mom and I talked about. So then she said something about stealth planes. She was like, you know how there's like super stealthy planes that they can like hover and they're almost invisible in the sky, um, and I was like, yeah. He's like, well, Trump has Boeing building an almost pilotless, super stealth, pardon me, I burped, defense system. And like targeting ability, no danger to any individual. Like she said that like it's being designed so that its targeting capability is so exact that they can be sure that they are taking out resources instead of innocent people, you know. And Biden is arguing with the Russian government, like stop this war, like thousands of people are dying in this war, this is needless. And like, you know, he said that, you know, there may not be Americans, but like I don't just value American lives, I value lives. He said I value human lives, and this war is bad for everybody. Like peace can be good for the world, you know. But that's not something that we really know through having the experience of it, though, is it? We're used to like tit for tat. I've got this and you want it, so I'm gonna invade you and I'm gonna deplete you of your resources so I can have power over you. Like it's been operating on power for far too long, and that era is over, by the by. If you want to consult the Mayan calendar, the what is it on here? I have it on DVD. The Mayan calendar comes north or goes north or something. I think it's a Canadian presentation. It's Ian XL Lungold, and the Mayan calendar, among other things, his exploration of it provided a timeline of the generational intentions that like govern consciousness. And so we are not in the age of power, but like power had such a chokehold on consciousness that it's like it's been really hard to move on from it. But that's not where we are anymore. Like we are entering unity consciousness, and it's time for peace and prosperity, not just in our nation but on the planet. And it looks to me like everything America has ever purported to be, which it has never been, but that shining example, that magical land that everybody, you know, holds in such high regard as this golden standard of living in conditions of quality and freedom, that we're finally going to live up to all of those claims. And Trump only has 4 years to do that. So like we definitely do need to be paying attention to this political stuff. Like I really didn't realize what was going on. Like I felt very strongly, like in my soul, that Trump being the president is a good thing, God thing. Yes, evolution of consciousness thing. Yes. But I didn't know all the specifics of it, and I feel like now I do, and it just makes me like even more excited. Like it's not even make America great again. America wasn't actually great back then. This is unprecedented, actually. This is a golden age like no one's ever experienced. So that's really exciting. Um, and it's really excited. It's really cool to share that excitement with my mom. Which, if you know anything about me and my history, like she and I do not have a history of having a good relationship or any relationship at all. So this is all just really, really special experience for me. Um, okay, so she said that RFKJ, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., um, who was part and parcel of voting for Trump, that was how we got RFKJ. Like, let's look at that pretty little Trojan horse situation, and like RFJK gets to play because Trump is letting him. She said that RFKJ just found the food thing. She said some kind of chemical or something in food that causes schizophrenia. Like, that is a wild claim, and like that is shit that like would be on my radar. Like, the algorithm would feed that to me, and so like I haven't gotten online to check that out yet, but that's very exciting if that's true. If there has been a direct link to some kind of food substance that causes schizophrenia, like, it's about fucking time. It's about fucking time. I don't know if you're new here, if you know me, but I'm a person who has experienced severe schizophrenic symptoms all my life, and I have a diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder. I'm really psychic, and like I'm a tool of God, not crazy, and like if all of your predictions are accurate, and like and no crazy thought, not a single crazy thought that God is talking to you or telling you to do something, like, ever pans out, that like bad things were happening because of that. It's like, you know, and I had to get used to that. It had to be low stakes stuff at first, it'd be like, okay, well, what do I really have to lose by just like listening to this voice in my head, and going up to that random person and being like, hey, what's up, how's your day going, like what's really, like, if I don't do that, like, if I do, if I don't, like, no attachment, right? Like, so let's just see what this voice is about, because I really don't know what's going on. I didn't know what was going on back when I was a teenager, young adult. um but when the voice consistently walks me up to strangers, and consistently I'm having heart to heart fucking evolution of consciousness, spiritual awareness conversations with strangers, and it's ending with them being like, I was going to kill myself tonight, I was going to kill myself tomorrow, I had decided to kill myself, and interacting with you here in this way, person I did not know, that has saved my life, that has changed my mind. Like, consistently I am being directed to heal and provide good things, and do good things in the world. So, like, I don't think that any manifestation of schizophrenia is actually schizophrenia. I think that there is a spiritual component that is not acknowledged and cannot be acknowledged, in the current climate, in the sociological climate, um, because it's really fucking scary. And it is really fucking scary. And to have psychic ability and to have psychic power is power. And it is very true that power is a very corruptive force. Um, I had to work very hard not to be corrupted by power. And I think if you relinquish that, then it just like runs like roughshod all over you, you know. Um, but yeah, I don't know because despite how much fucking Thorazine has been injected into me and fucked me the fuck up permanently, hopefully not permanently, always healing, but like, dude, come on now. Like, I'm not I'm not some, schizophrenic crazy person. And it's uncomfortable for me too. You know, it's also fucking frustrating. I was like, hey, pandemic coming. It's a good thing because everybody will be on the same page, and the same page as me. But you know, isolated. So chronic illness, disability, spoonie girl here. You know, in 2013, I was isolated. The internet was my only, you know, access to the outside world, and that was maddening, and it's bad for health. And I was grounded, and like I was excited for the whole world to get grounded and to get a taste of what it's like to be a disabled person, because I'm not the only disabled person. I'm just one of the ones that's speaking really loudly about that, and also other things, which, like, I don't have, you know, one agenda. I don't have one cause that I'm like, you know, about. I have a very big picture, and I have a very clear intention, and that is to manifest an opulent reality, and specifically the reality that we would absolutely look at and say, we have created heaven on earth. I expect that. So, you know, I've always been high vibe, Christ consciousness, opulent reality, manifest your desires. Center yourself in the flow of creation by living presently and allowing light and energy to flow through you, not trying to hold it, because why would you? It is free and infinite, right? Also have a lot of like real world causes, and I have not ever been like political. I don't think I've ever really taken a political platform, but I am now, and I think we just have to be okay with that. So yeah, she told me about that schizophrenia RFKJ thing, and I was like, oh, well, you know that he's trying to get that thing fixed where, you know, the pharmaceutical industry used to not be allowed to market directly to the consumer, and that changed in the 90s. He's trying to fix that and make it so it's illegal once again. It never should have been legal. Why was it made legal? Profit, period. You know, and she was like, really? Like, I was excited about her schizophrenia news, although taking it with a grain of salt, because like, unless that, and she said everything she's telling me is like fresh news from last week. Like, she stays up on this shit, and not because she's, you know, like she is so fucking excited. It is the most high vibe thing she can do, is participate in the political arena right now, because she's looking at this with a certainty that it's going to bring about a better life for everyone in America. Herself, her children, everyone. She's participating in this. She's paying attention to this in the highest vibe, you know? And that is a really, really cool thing. It's also something that we want to be mindful of when we're interacting. You know, not everybody's on the same page as you. Like, not everybody is gonna agree, and sometimes we really want them to agree, and we really want them to be on the same page with us. And this Trump issue and this political issue, like, what if we could look at that not as your side or my side, but based on how it is affecting each individual's vibe, okay? So, like, I would never try to denounce or decry or defame Trump or Elon Musk. I would never try to take something from someone I love when I have the awareness that it's like the most exciting, beautiful thing to them. So I would invite you to consider that, like, who are the people really that are just like fucking crazy Trump supporters and they're holding that piece of their political identity, you know, so tightly, and you feel like you just want to like shake them and wake them, you know, if you don't agree with that, and you don't think that they're on the side of right. It's a lot of boomers, isn't it? It's a lot of people that have a real lived experience understanding of what it is Trump is intending to do for us. And it's an awareness of how all of the things he's doing are to that end of making America great again as they knew it to be. And see, that's like, I mean, how evil would it be to try to take that from somebody? You know? I mean, I happen to agree with my mom, which is wild, and it's wild that I'm pro-Trump, honestly. But like, if that's the most exciting, hopeful, like engaging thing in an older person's life that you know, like maybe don't disrupt that. And it's something that we really can't understand because we have no idea at all what it's like to grow up and like go to school, work hard, raise a family, buy a house. Like that's unfathomable. And I'm an 80s 90s kid. So anybody closer to that reality, that the American dream didn't seem like such obvious bullshit from the jump, that maybe had a little taste of it, they're like addicts. They are like addicts, and they just want that feeling back. And what is it really? What is that feeling? It's hope. It's hope. So I just wish that we could enter society and have civil conversations with people. You know, I'm mostly friends and in social groups with queer, transsexual people and very leftist, liberal agenda. And the news, and I'm just getting the news from whatever they post on Facebook. I don't tune into the news myself. And so what they're being shown, what they're being told, is this really bad stuff. It's like, but it's only half of the story. And yeah, so that's why I'm here, like in a political capacity platform, just sharing the conversation. Okay, and my mom was like, well, you know why they even had success selling processed foods that had no nutritional value. She's like, breakfast cereal, you know, the only thing healthy about breakfast cereal is the milk that you put on it. And I'm just like so proud of my mom. I'm just so proud of my mom that she knows that and that she'd say that and that she's saying this. There is a book that you can read, I believe it is called The 100-Year Lie, and it tracks the health of our nation declining as the industrial processed food revolution blasts off. And it is just fantastic resource that you might want to have in your library. I don't have the book anymore. I need to get another one. But yeah, like women welcomed processed food because they were stretched so thin trying to provide, whether that meant actually working, being in the workplace, entering the workforce, or just being homemakers. Like, that is still a job. And processed food made getting dinner on the table a little easier. And so, that was why that happened. But if if our nation has better resources, then and then as that trickles down, each individual has better resources, they'll be able to allocate their energy to more healthful practices, and make the choices that they want to make. Like, I remember growing up with my grandma. If my grandma made anything that was from like kind of a box, or she was embarrassed to not make dinner entirely from scratch. It was shameful to her. She did it out of necessity, and that's how a lot of people are feeding themselves. They cannot afford nutritious, good food. So it's really fantastic that RFK Jr. is trying to get all of the chemical additives, the poisonous food coloring out of our food. Things that aren't even in the ingredient list in other developed countries. Like, it's ridiculous, like, how we've been deliberately poisoned in order to just like keep that fucking cyclic anyway. So it's like everything shifted to accommodate that cycle of corruption, where the food industry is in bed with the doctors, and the doctors are in bed with the industry, and the psychiatric industry, and the food industry, and the medical industry have just been like ensuring that they have their profit margin. And that's done. That's done now. We're moving on from that. Trump and Elon say, my mom says, that caring and compassion were absent from the financial institution. And so it had to go. And that makes a lot of sense. Elon Musk and Donald Trump are people that have such an excess of wealth that the notion of greed, that to be motivated to do something bad to get more money for themselves personally, makes zero fucking sense. They don't need more money for anything. They are untouched by the corruptive force of greed. In my observation, that's how this is working so well. So how it's been working is that there's one bank account for everything. All of the money in the United States is in a bank, and anyone within the federal government financial institution could write a check for anything at any time and use those funds in that one bank. And there have been no checks and balances to this whatsoever. That's what my mom says. And the federal government spending is taxpayers' money. That's our money that is just being used for what the fuck ever anybody wants. So that's why Trump fired the whole Department of Energy. It was really interesting. DOGE is, trying to uncover fraudulent spending, like wasteful spending, and found that there are 4,100 employees whose stated job role and all they perform, their only function, all that they do in order to earn a paycheck, is get cell phones and laptops to government employees. I can't imagine any reason why it would take 4,000 people to hand out cell phones and laptops. That's fucking insane if you ask me. And that was $200 million that was being wasted. And, I look at that and it's like, well, it looks like somebody found a place where they could put that job title and send some money. And the reason that anybody would be fighting what Trump is doing is because Trump is making it so ain't nobody can cook the books no more. Oh, that is done. That's not happening. There's no little dummy accounts that you can go funnel money into because nobody really knows all of the 4,000 fucking individuals that are supposed to be handing out phones and laptops. Like, that was just a dump category. Like, it is. And there's probably tons of those throughout the government where somebody was like, well, nobody's gonna really notice or care if there's like a couple more really non-entities there, so yeah, so that's a good thing. Yay, Trump and DOGE. And then, so she said last week Elon looked into what federal employees did in the week previous to get a survey of, what their jobs are and how they're working. This 4,000 people to hand out cell phones and laptops is fucking ridiculous. So, like, what is everybody else doing, right? And it was sent out as a survey by email that was like, what did you do last week? Like, who do you like in your job? Do you feel fulfilled by your job? Whatever. And thousands of those emails that they sent out to federal government employees were not answered. And I guess Elon Musk was like, well, it's only been a week. Let's give him another week. And then 2 weeks goes by and there's still these thousands of employees are still not responding to this work email. And well, let's give them another week. And 3 weeks go by and they decide that we're done with this. If these people can't answer their email, then they don't need to be employed anymore. So I think so they were contacted, I guess, to be like, if you don't answer the email, asking, like, basically Elon Musk is like asking for accountability as to what you do here. Why do we pay you? What do you do here? And it's widely ignored. And so it's like, so then he's like, you can have an 8 months severance if you're useless, but you answer the email, or don't answer the email and you're just fired. And so a lot of people got fired because a lot of people weren't working. Oh yeah, that was so crazy. So then she tells me there's a bunch of federal government employees that are retirement age and they want to retire and collect their federal pension benefits, but that process is so slow and antiquated, not computerized at all, far from it. In fact, in order to process these people and get them their pensions, someone has to go into a mine and get a manila folder with their name on it out of a fucking file cabinet in a mine. Like, what in 2025? Why is anyone having to go to a mine and get a manila folder? That's insane. That's the slowest, dumbest way to do it. But why hasn't anything been updated? Why isn't everything updated? Because when there's electronic surveillance everyone will be held accountable. Everyone will have to be working, and everyone will have to account for where the money goes. And there's so many people that are corrupt in the government that they're fighting the technological age tooth and fucking nail. They don't want anything on computers. They don't want to be exposed. And that's what's happening. We're losing all of the corruptness of the government. That's what DOGE is doing. It's fucking driving out the snakes, dude. It's so fucking good. I had no idea. I had no idea. You know, the bureaucrats don't want the gig to be up, but it's up. The jig is up. No more cooking the books. No more fraudulent spending. No more doing fucking nothing. Like, it's wild. So they're updating that now. And, so I was talking about the view out my back door and how comparatively this is such a much better place. And she was like, yeah, but like they're like the towers where I used to live, the total hell dimension that is Santa Fe Towers in Overland Park, Kansas. She was like, that was good for you. It helped you grow. And I was like, it helped me grow? Okay, like tell me about that. And her point was that it allowed me to be in service more than I ever had been able to before. And as a disabled person, being able to help out people who were more or less able, just elderly. It was like an old folks home. It's old folks and disabled people. Like I was absolutely an asset with my level of ability, and intelligence. And then the other thing that she brought up is she was like, they came at you trying to treat you like how they've been treating everyone else who has just taken it and just tucked their tail between their legs and been kicked out of Santa Fe Towers. And my mom said, Trump is like you. Like, you're like Trump. Like, you're not having it. Like, you have the same energy as Donald Trump that I don't think so. This you're not doing this. And it was like, whoa, that's like totally intense. And I'm like, so the persecution like empowered me. And she's like, yeah, you're fighting the system. That was you fighting the bureaucracy, just like Trump is doing in the White House now. And I'm like, wait a minute. That did not even occur to me. Like, oh my God, that was like a total badass punk thing to do. I fought the system and I won. I fucking took on the bureaucracy. I spent a year in goddamn litigation and I fucking won. That's incredible. I did not even think of that as like any like credit to my punk identity, really. Like, it just like, holy shit, that is so cool. That's totally empowering. Like, and that's inspiring. And I was inspiring to the people in Santa Fe Towers. Like, totally, yeah. I mean, I made that hell less hellish. And I left it as soon as I could, but I did leave it in a better state than it was in when I entered it. So, yeah. And I'm still in touch with people. In fact, somebody just contacted me and they were like, they're trying to kick me out. It's just a bunch of bullshit. And I mean, and when someone says to me that the office is on some bullshit, we're talking about management in Santa Fe Towers falsifying documents, claiming that I ran after them, attacked them verbally and physically, claiming that they had to call the police, and then going to court with these people, and them lying through their fucking teeth on the stand. So, like, if you tell me that they're telling lies about you, I know the full extent that they will go to try to remove you from your home. And by the way, nobody with any other fucking option is living in Santa Fe fucking Towers. It's a very nice ghetto in Johnson County, and a very nice ghetto in Johnson County is way better than a ghetto in Jackson or Wyandotte, but it's still a fucking ghetto. And nobody really wants to be there. Life hasn't turned out real good for you if you're not retirement age and you're set up in Santa Fe fucking Towers, dude. Like, yeah, so that's cool. And I was like, okay, well, here is the information that you need. This is Kansas Legal Services. You might want to mention my name, like, let them know that they have gone up against this lawyer and this company before, and they have won. So might be good to mention my name and the fact that that case was won, because, you know, they're providing free legal counsel, and they have to be very selective about who they help. And let's just, like, little reminder, like, you can never have too much testimony when you're talking with Mindy Lee, right? It is only by God that I had legal services from them. Like, they were like, you know what? We have to prioritize this elderly person that's getting evicted. We can't take your case. And then the lawyer that had connected with me and was going to be my lawyer was like, no, I'm going to do this in my free time, Mindy. I'm going to do this. We're going to figure this out. Like, are you kidding me? Like, the good heart of an awesome lawyer, like he saw me, and he helped me. And without his help, I would not have won that battle. But that was such a blessing. that was such, if you ask me, evidence that God's got it. Like, in and of itself, I am so blessed. But for that lawyer's name, for his last name to actually, factually be blessing, you can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like, if you ask me, like, I'm better than the Bible. I'm way more effective than the Bible. I've got so many fucking receipts. Like, you want a sign, you want evidence, you want to understand that a loving creator is working on a plan. Like, I got you, bro. Yeah, so on that note, I was like, you know, I have a presence online, but it's not anything like it used to be. You know, I used to have 100,000 followers on YouTube and 5,000 on Tumblr, and, you know, the internet wasn't all monetized and popularity contest like it is now. And I'm like, I don't know if I could have an arena online where I could, you know, just be myself, and just by being myself, accidentally lead people to Christ. But that's what I do in real life. Like, I inspire people. Like, just my existing is, like, inspirational. And and it makes people take notice, and it makes people be more present and appreciate what they have. And you know, by comparative experience, because my life is so miserable, because my story is so tragic, but also just because my energy is so vibrant. It's kind of infectious, I guess. And I really wish there was like a place that I could go to in, reality, real life world, where I could be around people that don't use drugs at all. And that means smoking pot and alcohol. I do not want anyone in my reality. I do not want to make any new friends who smoke pot or drink alcohol at all. Not occasionally, not special occasion. Like, where are those people? And and it doesn't make sense for me to be in church, really, because you don't grow the congregation by preaching to the choir. I'm not leading anyone to church if they're already sitting in church, right? And as far as like church service, like Sunday church, like, who cares if I can't go to church on Sunday? If I can't sit and not talk to people. I mean, I would interact with people. Like, I would interact with so many people, yes. And people would be so happy, and I get so many hugs, and it would be so wonderful. And I really wish I could have gone, but I didn't get to go, and I'm okay with that. I used to get, like, absolutely suicidal when I missed church. When I woke up and I wasn't physically able to go to church, I would spend, like, half the day, just trying to recover from the degree of suicidality that would descend upon me, and just the absolute existential crisis that I would be going through every time I miss church. And I have church things that fall on Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and Monday evening. And it was a whole lot of hard for me to deal with feeling suicidal every time I miss one of those things. So it's really super cool that that chapter of my life is closed. It's just closed. I kept praying, like, specifically, like, I do surrender. I do surrender. And I don't even have the luxury of believing or hoping or having faith or anything. Like, I trust because I have seen like the way that things have played out in my life. It's like, if I didn't experience it myself, I wouldn't even believe it. So if God has decided that I don't need to go to church every Sunday, then so be it. Like, I don't know why that is. I don't understand that, but I don't have to understand that. That's the other thing. Like I know that I have a loving creator because I have experienced how even the most horrific nightmares were for my growth, for my self-understanding, for healing my trauma, for confronting my demons in darkness and integrating my shadow. Like, dude, you're never gonna change my mind, but I'm not trying to change yours. I'm just really happy. I'm just really happy how things are playing out. Um, I was just praying, just trying to be okay. Like, I just wanted to not be devastated. And and in that surrender, I let it go, and some church came back to me, like people from, like, actual church spaces locally were reaching out to me. Like I've been having conversations with a brother in faith, like, churching. I may not be able to go to church, but, like, no, God has brought church to me, and all I had to do was trust and surrender, right? So that's pretty cool. And this is the art of non-attachment. Like prayer is surrendering, but it is practicing the art of non-attachment. And non-attachment is essential and integral as far as manifesting your opulent reality, manifesting anything that you desire. If you are seeking, if you are putting want, need, energy out, what you're communicating and creating yourself to be is lacking that. So when you let go of it and you're not reaching for it, you like render in the simulation as having it. So the art of non-attachment and prayer being a practice of that is very important, right? Um, and Jesus being a quantum teacher and a quantum healer is very important to the message that that I'm sharing. Like I'm coming at this from like a very high consciousness, a very spiritual, energetic awareness, also the highly intellectual awareness of it. And it was not lightly or easily that I embraced the Bible scripture, but it never fails me. Like I was struggling. I'm not sure what it was exactly, but I was struggling recently this last week, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know what to pray for. I don't know what to do. And I was like, okay, God, just speak to me. Like this is my Bible. I'm opening the Bible. Just I need an arrow. And pretty much that's all I've been doing with the Bible all my life, is like in very desperate times should I find myself in the presence of a Bible, which is like the mental hospital and hotel rooms. And um and I just opened it randomly, and and exactly what it said, like, spoke to my experience. um let's see if I can find that. See, this should be like separate stuff, huh? I'm not organized. Um, oh my gosh, I have so I have so many fashion designs. It's awesome. It's awesome. Oh, okay. This is the I think the Grace Baptist Church, the sermon that God saw fit for me to go to, which was just how to minister to people, how to experience fellowship like that. I think it's called Tell Your God Stories. I think. Shit, all I am is a God story. So I'm just telling my God story. That's all I'm really doing on this planet. Oh, this was really cool. This was the day after St. Patrick's Day, because on St. Patrick's Day, I went, and my friend, he wanted me to meet his coworkers, and like he was like, these people are good people. They should know someone like you. And it was like, that's so sweet. And they were really sweet and good people. They were also really young people, and it brought into my awareness like what I was feeling. Like I was like, oh my gosh, they are so young and vibrant, and their lives are ahead of them, and you can see the hope hasn't gone from their eyes completely. Like these are the observations that I'm making in these people. That's like I feel very other from them, right? Like I feel like that is not me. I'm not like that. Like I was observing 20 somethings, and everyone that I meet in the real world thinks that I'm a 20 something. And it just like struck me. I mean, it was just like, that's how people see me. That vibrant life, that hope, that alive, that beauty, like, that's how people see me. I want to see myself like that. I want to see myself like that. And so that was the intention that I had as I was, trying to like figure out like what I can do, right? Like if I want to change something about my life or my perspective, that's not a thing where it's just like I just put that into the ether and it like comes right back to me, because I have a human brain. I have a physical body that is subject to all of these fucking laws, and you know, I'm gonna have better, faster, more effective result from that intention that I set if I actually take steps toward it. So I came up with this thing, and it was quite a process. I'm trying to figure out, because I've got the process here. Like working the so the thing is that it seems like fucking crazy stupid, and it's annoying that I am God on earth and I'm fucking disabled, right? Like that's not good. That's not good vibes. And it's also just like oh my god, like a level of helplessness. Like I I am all that is. I am the universe in form, and I can't think myself out of this. Like, I can't spiritually heal myself and not be disabled anymore. It's really frustrating, and you get a lot of feedback from reality that, like, you can do that. I'm not having success with that, and I am, like, my name is Mindy. That begins with the word mind. So, like, you don't know mind over matter like I do. Like, it's fucking, like, I'm done fucking miracles. Like, my thoughts, like, manifest in reality. Like, I fucking run this shit, you know? Like, so, trying to work from that lower density point and bring it into high vibration. So I want to, like, I'm like trying to like dig into the third dimensional limited aspect and gradually draw it up, just like we would craft a playlist with progressively more inspiring music until we're just listening to that Christian music instead of the secular, right? Like or the beats per minute thing, that too. Like you want to bring your energy up, like you make a playlist for your workout routine, like for your warm up and your cool down. And like I'm trying to work progressively, like viewing personal vibrational frequency as a scale, and not trying to circumvent it by quantum leaping. I'm all about quantum leaping onto different timelines, them expiring. Our consciousness converges when a timeline expires, and that's why we have things like the Mandela effect. Sorry, like I just, I don't know. It's just it's just weird to me. It's like if I had had the internet, like when like I experienced the Mandela effect thing, which was the Berenstain Bear books changing when I was a small child, like it wouldn't be called the Mandela effect. I don't think it would be like the Mindy thing, because it's just some fucking crazy thing that Mindy thought, until I don't know, it was like the 2000s or something before people were on board with that, and it was like good, because ever since I woke up and the Berenstain Bear books changed, I was like, I have to get back to that. I have to get back to that. And I did. If there's other people here that remember that, if there's anybody here talking about the Berenstain Bear books, and it's not just some crazy fucking thing that I did when I was 5, then I've done all I need to do, you know? And honestly, that has been a double-edged sword because and oh my goodness, this happens a lot with me, that like my just whole being and belief system, which has been really wild and out there, people have thought I was a crazy schizophrenic and should be locked up forever. It's been such a double-edged sword because I'll look at something and I'll be like, well, that is here now, and it's not just coming from me anymore, and they have it, and I don't have to be the one to hand it to them anymore, so I don't need to be here anymore, right? Like, I can go now. And I do still often look to God and I say, like, can I go now? Because it looks like I did it. It looks like it's done. And it really does. It really does. But I continue to live, and so I continue to serve my primary directive, like, before there was ever any, like, God or anything to me. I was just a small child, 5 years old. I'm here for the evolution of human consciousness. That's my agenda, really, you know? Okay, so working with that, I wrote some things down, and I saw a video that said that you need to be careful, and I so appreciate this. I'm like, choose wisely your words lest you spell your own doom, right? And so it was so cool for me to just, like, this random video, this person is like, don't use the word abundance, because you can have an abundance of bad things, can't you? And I'm like, I have an abundance of pain, yeah! And it was just like, like this, like, key ingredient that I needed, that I couldn't see myself, even though I'm like, so, like, oh my god, if I could have gone to college, I would have studied sociology and etymology. Etymology is the study of the origin of words, and I would be doing that with the intention to out the fucking English language as the insidious amalgamation to rip us from our divinity and keep us enslaved that it is. Well, some lady did that. Some nice lady already did that. I don't have to do that, which is good because I didn't go to college. I do know a lot about words, but yeah, I don't remember her name. It's a weird name. It's not an easy name to remember, okay? But, like, I really should know it. I really should have her book. I don't need to read it. She's like, you know, you might have seen her videos, or like people fucking taking, oh man, I fucking hate the fucking internet, the way it works. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna put myself sitting here watching a video and not credit the creator of the video. I fucking hate that shit. But yeah, you might have heard her teachings, the awareness that, like, we wake up in mourning. Well, the other mourning that we know of is mourning as what we would do at a wake. This is not good vibes, you know? Like, I've just been aware of that shit for, like, ever. People didn't want to hear about it. People were like, you are so crazy. You are so evil. You are such a bummer. Like, yeah, I was a major fucking cynic, angry psychopunk. And I guess I still am. Not the cynic, though. But, you know, I think that's one of the interesting things that I've experienced. If you've heard about my talks before, there's times that I've felt, you know, like the devil got up in me, but actually it was the wrath of God. And if I am here to be the wrath of God, then so be it. Anyway, so it's really important that I not say abundance. And so I'll use the word prosperity instead. I need health and prosperity. Ooh, and as I say that, I feel like the magnetic like resistance of it. I swear to you. So I say I need health and prosperity, and if and I feel something engage, right? And um, I desire health and prosperity. That's a little higher vibe, isn't it? I desire health and prosperity. You know what? It's okay to want to be healthy. It's okay to want a better situation. You can be as happy as you can be wherever you are and however you are, and you can still want to be better. That's okay, right? I desire health and prosperity. Oh, now we're stepping into the present though. I feel health and prosperity. I feel health and prosperity. I do know what health and prosperity feels like. I've had it. I've had tastes of it, you know. Um, but that's, like I said, that's bringing it into the present. And we create ourselves in the present from the present. It's a very tricky thing that we're doing here, but we create ourselves in the present from the present. So I feel health and prosperity. We create ourselves, but as 3D beings, we are subject to the conditions of duality, right? So we create ourselves either, as I have always said, from a place of love or a place of fear. And if you do not choose love, then it defaults fear, because that's the predominant energy in this realm. Okay? So once I say I feel health and prosperity, getting present, I want to decide where I'm creating from, what I'm creating with, right? So I love health and prosperity. I love health and prosperity. And oh my gosh, I do. I say that and I connect to the gratitude I feel like when I could go to church, when I could step outside and enjoy the storm overhead, when I could paint yesterday, dance to Smile DK. I mean, I love health and prosperity. I love it for myself and I love it for other people. Oh my gosh. When my friends are healthy and prospering, that just makes me so happy. I'm just so happy for them. I am so happy for them. And I love love. I love that other people have significant others, that they're experiencing romantic love, you know? Just I love. And so then I want to take it, further into the sphere. What is that saying? It's a very common saying that thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become behavior, behavior becomes habit, and habit becomes personality. So I'm working with the fact that we speak ourselves into creation, right? That's why it's so bad that our language, that's okay. So I was just kind of touching on this with that lady that I really need to get her reference here. That yeah, choose your words wisely lest you inadvertently spell your own doom. um, One of the lessons along that line you've probably heard me talk about is that you have to communicate with creation in the affirmative, as if it is always and only moving forward, because it is. Because, by the way, the intention of the physical universe is expansion. That's what physicality is doing. It's expanding. The universe is expanding. So there's no negating something. Like you can't speak of something that you don't want to put energy into. And so talking in the affirmative, it's like you can't phrase your prayer or your intention setting like, I don't want to be sick anymore. I don't want to be sick anymore. Universe doesn't hear that. Universe just is like, sick? We'll continue that. I don't want to be sick. Like, don't doesn't exist to the universe. So the universe hears, I want to be sick. You have to frame that and work with third dimensional creation and tell it what you do want. Don't tell the universe what you don't want. They'll give you plenty of that. Tell it what you do want. So that's, what I'm doing here. So I speak health and prosperity. I speak health and prosperity. And I do. I do. I speak health and prosperity over others. I pray for people. I wish them well. I celebrate their health and prosperity. I speak health and prosperity over others and over myself, Engaging the other senses. I see health and prosperity. I want my cognitive bias to be more aware of health and prosperity in myself and in the world at large than it is of disability and suffering, right? Like, we're just working with the systems. We know how they work, so we're working with the systems. That's what I'm doing here. I see health and prosperity. I see health and prosperity, right? And then maybe I should put I receive health and prosperity, but I just thought of that just now. So just continue with what I have written. The most powerful statement that you can make ever, 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 ever is I am. Simply, I am. I am. When I was 5 years old, I received my awakening, my download, the lightning struck of knowing that connected me to maybe the Akashic Records. I don't know. I commune with God consciousness. I'm just like Christ on earth. It is what it is. I am is the first thing I said when I occupied my body, my human form, to speak a word from that experience, from that download. I am. And in that utterance, I became viscerally aware that I am everything that I could say after I am. I am the I am. I am that. I am that I am. And yeah, so I am is such a powerful statement. Spoken presently with love, I don't think that there's any other way you could better enable yourself to connect to God and your own divinity. And whether your intention is to connect to your own divinity or to God, that's going to be the same thing. If you don't realize that, you will eventually, but that's okay. Been sitting in this chair too long. I think I am wrapping up though. My body's telling me it's time to go. I am healthy and prosperous. I am healthy and prosperous. I am healthy and prosperous. And as I'm saying these things, I'm feeling for the resonant truth of them. Truth really does ring. It resonates. There's a reason that so many people, even though there wasn't really like evidence of it until recently, like for decades, like those of us that have been knowing this, it's like finally there's chambers under the pyramid, and they certainly do resemble Tesla free energy technology. I mean, I should make another video about that, huh? Damn. It is not a simple task for me to operate the device. Um, but yeah, so like, man, isn't that exciting? The Giza pyramid discovery. Um, that's super cool. Now the thing is, like, I've, you know, been certain of that. So it's just like, cool, affirmation. Other people, like, now it can't be denied. Now I'm not just like a conspiracy theorist. Like, it's getting proven. That's cool. But it's not like the big revelation, exactly, to me. But it is, the veil being lifted, and everybody getting on the same page, and it's very cool. And I don't know if other people are talking about this, but the the pyramids were capped in gold, which is a superconductor. We don't know what else might have been on them. We're looking at this like a fucking Oldsmobile that's been stripped of everything, and it's just a shell sitting there, and we're like, that can't be a source of energy. That can't be a car. Like that's not a vehicle of transport. That's a hunk of metal sitting on the ground. Yeah, the pyramids do just look like big fancy rocks in the desert, but like we're looking at them so stripped. But gold is a superconductor, and that is an essential component of technological, communicative technology devices. And the pyramids look a lot to me like the tops of like the Washington Monument. And so I've been thinking that the pyramids are just the tops of these giant um, structures that were positioned in a city, in a civilization, and got buried in the flood, like almost completely buried. And I think like, well, the Egyptians like want to take credit. Like, did they even build the pyramids? Like, I think maybe they just stumbled upon them, or at most dug them out of the sand. It's a whole lot more reasonable to understand how human beings and slave force can dig something out of the sand than it is than to build it themselves. I think that they inherited the pyramids, and then that, like the inheriting Earth from ancient civilizations, Atlantis type of stuff is the study and exploration. Books are written by Graham Hancock. I highly recommend you subscribe to him and pay attention. He's very, very good, very good, very good source of information. Um, very, very happy that we have him in the arena. Um, but like, okay, the inside of it looks like a battery, and it's a tall thing. It's like the tallest thing in the city for it to be exposed after the flood, covered by all this sand. And I've just been looking at that like, well, okay, pyramids are to like connect to the gods, right? Superconductor, technological component. Pyramids just seem like an ancient antenna tuning into cosmic radio, you know? And I think it makes a lot of sense for the there to be a chamber, a library under the Sphinx, um, because I think that would have been like the DJ booth. Um, and yeah, so they're recording the transmissions, and that makes sense to me. and I don't know if other people are talking about this really. I'm trying to think, like, what are people talking about? Y-Files is very good. Check out Y-Files. Their information about the pyramid is really cool. And is it Ruslan KD? Ruslan? It's an Armenian. Um, Also very good source of information. I'm pretty particular about who I pay attention to on the internet. I don't like YouTuber personality types and influencers at all. That shit's so cringe. Um, but yeah, it's like the reason that this is so exciting to me is that if we can get such accurate information of exactly the structures underneath the pyramids, then with by all reason we can then create them on a smaller scale and tinker with the formula until we figure out exactly how that was a free energy um, device. Or I should say exactly what it was. Exactly what it was. Because, like, you know, I'm looking at the pyramid as the top of an antenna that's like the Washington Monument thing, um, and the columns, the cylindrical chambers underneath it, the eight of them, two sets of four, plugged into two different. They are two separate square cavities, right, that converge into one. It's just very interesting. It's just very interesting, and if we can recreate that at a smaller scale, then we can experiment with it and explore all of the variables, like plug copper into the channels that spiral around the eight cylindrical chambers that we found, and see what we can do. Then reasonably we can uncover secrets like already. This is the discovery of a lifetime. Are you kidding me? Like, I have been so about controversial Egyptology shit. Like, oh my god, just absolutely fascinated by Egypt, and like this is news of a lifetime. Like, the only way that it's not the biggest discovery is if it leads to an even bigger discovery. And I am of the school of thought that thinks that there is a whole city under under the pyramids, under the sand. And I don't I don't think okay, so I don't think that Plato got the location of Atlantis right, or something geographically shifted so that that's no longer accurate, or it's simply a Mandela timeline disparity, right? Um, but geographically on the map, there's this basin in Africa thing. I think it's RI. It's some okay. The thing about this, the only reason I even like barely remember it is because the where I think the Atlantis really was based on Plato's description of it and what that matches geographically on our map, it sounds like the German word for right. Like, I swear. So it's like RICHTE or REC. Man, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think that that's where it was. And if it has such it's in such close proximity to the pyramids of Giza, then I really wonder what relationship they might have had, what exchanges of energy, um, what channels, um, what energetic ley lines, meridians that, like, if something, I don't know, like it, like that, the possibilities, like I just feel like if we got this exciting new tidbit about ancient Egypt, and if we keep digging, literally keep digging, right? Like the possibility of what else we might discover, but like, oh my gosh, like we're so curious, like we are invested, we got a payoff from this, like we're gonna keep digging. And so I'm like, well, yeah, of course there's chambers under the pyramid, like that's not really news, right? But this could lead to so much. This could lead to so much. And that is very exciting. So it's good news to share. And see, that's what I've been paying attention to. Not politics at all, but just, um, oh my gosh, there's a YouTuber, and he and his son, they bribed somebody to get into a tomb that was like supposed to belong to the son of a pharaoh, and then he's got some other video where like there's a mummified pharaoh from Egypt. This is an actual thing in a museum sitting there for all the world to see, and it has like boils on its flesh, like as if it was present when Moses threw the ashes in the Bible. And that's like, whoa, like that's so cool. Um, you know, the like the more we go on, it's like there really is quite a bit of stuff to back up the validity of 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 the Bible. My, you know, interest is in how I can use scripture as a tool to be like Christ. That's the goal, really. I mean, that should be the goal for everyone. Like I'm just the one that has the unique experience of having to juggle being aware that they're God in a limited form, periodically able to access powers and work miracles, healing, and but see, we have to value one another. We have to value peace and love over power. Because, man, if you had the power to just like think things and make them happen and like access other people's minds, oh, that's so invasive and people don't like it. And it's like, well, if you don't have any secrets, if you don't have any shame, then it's not so bad, you know? Like, I don't know. I guess it's one of the reasons that I don't really have any shame. One of the reasons is because like if there's stuff that you're ashamed of that you want to hide about yourself, like I see in the spirit, I don't know like how else to say that, but the way that this works in my lived experience, you know, I was super psychically gifted as a child, and that's why I was so fucking persecuted, and I am such a fucking victim of the pharmaceutical psychiatric industry. You know, it's a modern day witch hunt. Instead of crying witch and drowning me, They cried crazy and drugged me. This scented eraser smells like grape. It's very nice. So, what was I saying? I was talking about the pyramids, and then I was talking about the YouTuber guy and the evidences of the Bible and scripture, like, power is corruptive. Yeah, power is corruptive. And shame. Oh, right. Yeah, because in like if you're hiding something, like whatever you are trying to hide, either within yourself or a hidden object, like if someone has put the intention of hide on themselves or an aspect of themselves or an object in reality, as a psychic intuitive person who sees in spirit, that thing that has the intention of being hidden shines brightly to me. It is the most obvious thing to me. I cannot help but see it. And yeah, so like, I'm growing up with that awareness, and it's like, well, if I am ashamed of something and there is someone else that is telepathic like I am, then that's like and I know that that's possible. I know that it's possible for someone to read my mind, because I know that I have been able to read other people's minds. So it's like, if I am uncomfortable with myself and my thoughts, and I have that awareness that like at some point you might encounter someone who can read your thoughts, and like as I became more damaged both psychologically from emotional life trauma and also from medication, but especially from medication, I couldn't tell where, and I now don't have hardly the ability to tell that something that I'm getting from somewhere else, I am getting from somewhere else. Like I I knew that sometimes I would read minds by accident. It totally wouldn't be on purpose, and it just happens. And so if I'm experiencing that kind of as like Power's ability of psychicness, that is falling away from me, than somebody who is waking up in that or has that to a degree, they could be getting those thoughts from me without even realizing that they're getting those thoughts from me. So even what I'm thinking is either a contribution or a contamination to consciousness. And these are the things that I've been, thinking about for, like 30 years, and I'm so weird because of it. But yeah. Sometimes I've met people that I'm like so sure that they're like just like totally still just like psychic as fuck. Like it never went away from their childhood. Like they weren't, attacked for it like I was or whatever. And that they're just like not telling me or whatever. Like I've known people like that where I'm like I swear I feel you in my brain, and it really like causes you to confront your mind and rein it in and observe it objectively and shamelessly. It's like, well, we all have errant thoughts. Am I going to be judged on that, that thing that I thought? No, like we all have thoughts. And, maybe the thoughts that we have are not even our thoughts. They're from somewhere else, just like, there was once a time that I could just sit with somebody and be like, just project at them, just think at them like, this song, sing this song, hear this song playing in my head, start humming this song, say this word, do this thing, do this thing. And like consistently, like that, I was controlling people, I was influencing people with my intentions, and who knows what you might be um, influenced by. So yeah, you definitely can't like judge your every thought. And the Bible teaches not to judge, and mostly I'm concerned with Jesus, his, and who I fully am trying to let you know that he was a quantum teacher and a quantum healer, and that we can be that too. We can be that too. Um, and like scripture lines up with that. There's something very high vibration, very like sanctifying about scripture. Like it changes the situation. Um, and sometimes what it does is it makes someone really uncomfortable, and we can look at that within the framework of Christianity and be like, well, they have demons, then they're evil, then, right? Like they were an agent of the devil, and we cast them out by speaking the Lord's word. um, and and that's a way you can look at it. And you can also look at it like you used words, intentions, utterances, vibrations to change the atmosphere, and it became inhospitable to someone who was vibrating at a different frequency. Um, so it's not that they're necessarily evil, but they're not at the same vibration that you are. And we just have to let people be. Everybody's just doing the best that they can with the awareness that they have, with the life that they've been given, and we're all so fucking traumatized at this point. Like um it's really important that we stay mindful, I think, and I'm about to go. It's really important that we stay mindful of how reality works, and that it's you being you. It's what vibration you're at. It's what intentions you have. It's what lessons you're working on. It's how you're evolving that directly dictates and creates um, your life experience. So, you can't, you really can't go out into the world or go up to somebody and be like, I need to change this about, like, I don't like this, this needs to change. Um, that's not how it works. That's just a reflection of you. Everything external is just a reflection of an individuated expression of the I am eternal. Okay? So, like, you do have to be selfish to a degree, and prioritize your healing. um, like make yourself pick up new good habits, things that get you centered in reality, things that make you feel present, and things that make you feel high vibe. And I'm still just here on the internet since 2009 talking about opulent realities. So uh but you know what, I'm not bedridden anymore. And Yeah, I mean, it's gotten a lot better. But okay, so shall we run through this really quickly? This affirmation thing that I'm doing personally because I am trying, because I am intending, because I am moving. See how that like course correct? Because I am deciding to move to a timeline where I am no longer sick and disabled. And nothing worldly needs to make sense about how that happens. And I know that miracles happen. So I need health and prosperity. I desire health and prosperity. I forgot one. I create health and prosperity. Right. So we are creators. I feel health and prosperity. That takes us to the present. I love embodying health and prosperity. I put that in there for me. I love embodying health and prosperity. Um, that tunes our third dimensional existence so that we are creating from love. I speak health and prosperity into being. I see health and prosperity all around me. I am healthy and prosperous. Okay. I didn't get through like all of this before I got distracted, but yeah. I need health and prosperity. I desire health and prosperity. I create health and prosperity. I feel health and prosperity. I love embodying health and prosperity. I speak health and prosperity into being. I see health and prosperity all around me. I am healthy and prosperous. So hopefully that makes sense, and I walked you through how this is working with the system that we are aware that we have, and most of us agree on these things that used to be kind of woo-woo out there, talking about conscious co-creation, manifesting your reality, dualistic universe, and vibrational frequency. Pretty normal now, right? um, and I hope that this is a tool that you can utilize to be healthy and prosperous. But yeah, I forged a new tool for myself, and I mean, I want I want everybody to be miraculously healed from their illness and disability. Not just me. I want everybody to have it. So I just made this, and maybe it'll help you. I mean, probably it will help you. Like, I mean, I don't know if you like, if you can understand it. I think it'll make a lot of sense. It would be interesting to like have like other like really like spiritual guru types like observe it and their analysis of it, what I've created. But I feel like it's a really powerful tool, and I'm really excited to hand it to you. And I'm really excited to use it myself. Yeah. Okay. Well, oh my gosh, thank you for tuning in. Um, I'm just a toon, a punk cartoon goon. Oh man. This is reality. It's a lot. Reality's a lot for me. But yeah, this was really cool. I haven't done a live stream that really just felt like a straight contribution across the board. I hope you didn't feel like I'm just rambling about my life. I definitely didn't come here in crisis or needing to use this as a tool for survival. I'm literally here with the intention to hand off tools of survival, and to um, hopefully connect with the people who are on the same page with me. Although I am a weirdo that doesn't look like she would be, praying for Donald Trump and just in awe of of this momentous occasion in which he is our president. Um, it's awesome. It's such a good thing. Um, Maybe this will help those people find me. Oh, I got this out. I was looking through this for the Bible thing. But it was talking about being in battle. It was somebody that had God by their side when they were in battle. And I was like, oh, I'm in a battle of pain. I'm in a battle of disability. And that's how that Bible thing spoke directly to me in that way. I don't think it was James. James was a recent Bible arrow that somebody handed me, and then I just like immediately turned around and said the exact same thing to a person that I was churching with, who called me because they needed me to pray for them. Like, my life is awesome, really. I hope that you know that. I hope that you know that. I hope that you see that. And if you're like here, you know, from like a long while back, like I hope that you like really, really connect with that, like really super see like how real this is, like, because it's so good, Jermaine Dupri, top down. Yeah, that's it. That's my thing. That's the list that I went through. It's like a top down approach or something like that. I'm not sure how to describe it. I am half retarded, you know. Here it is. Here it is. I had just about given up. Oh, yeah. Turning to the Lord, I opened the Recovery NLT at random. Samuel 2nd, Samuel 22. So 2nd Samuel, I guess there's two of them. 22. David's Song of Praise, page 417 in the New Life Recovery Bible. And it goes on till page 419. It's funny that it's even, you know, that the Bible would turn me about to 418 because 418 is my birthday. So I know I should have like a separate, like, what's new in the evolution of human consciousness, and what is new in politics, and what's new in my life, and here's some Bible study. Like, I know that this should all be separate, but you know what? I'm just doing the best that I can. Okay. Chapter 22 of 2nd Samuel. It says 2 Samuel, so I assume there's 2 Samuels. See, I'm new at this. David sang this song to the Lord on the day the Lord rescued him from all his enemies and from Saul. He sang, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my savior. My God is my rock in whom I find protection. He is my shield, the power that saves me, and my place of safety. He is my refuge, my savior, the one who saves me from violence. I called on the Lord who is worthy of praise, and he saved me from my enemies. The waves of death overwhelmed me, floods of destruction swept over me. The grave wrapped its ropes around me, death laid a trap in my path. But in my distress, I cried out to the Lord. Yes, I cried to my God for help. He heard me from his sanctuary. My cry reached his ears. Then the earth quaked and trembled, the foundations of the heavens shook. They quaked because of his anger. Smoke poured from his nostrils, fierce flames leapt from his mouth. Glowing coals blazed forth from him. He opened the heavens and came down. Dark storm clouds were beneath his feet. Mounted on a mighty angelic being, he flew, soaring on the wings of the wind. He shrouded himself in darkness, veiling his approach with dense rain clouds. A great brightness shone around him, and burning coals blazed forth. The Lord thundered from heaven. The voice of the Most High resounded. He shot arrows and scattered his enemies. His lightning flashed, and they were confused. Then, at the command of the Lord, at the blast of his breath, the bottom of the sea could be seen, and the foundations of the earth were laid bare. He reached down from heaven and rescued me. He drew me out of deep waters. He rescued me from my powerful enemies, from those who hated me and were too strong for me. They attacked me at a moment when I was in distress, but the Lord supported me. He led me to a place of safety. He rescued me because he delights in me. The Lord rewarded me for doing right. He restored me because of my innocence, for I have kept the ways of the Lord. I have not turned from my God to follow evil. I have followed all his regulations. I have never abandoned his decrees. I am blameless before God. I have kept myself from sin. The Lord rewarded me for doing right. He has seen my innocence. To the faithful you show yourself faithful. To those with integrity you show integrity. To the pure you show yourself pure, but to the crooked you show yourself shrewd. You rescue the humble, but your eyes watch the proud and humiliate them. O Lord, you are my lamp. The Lord lights up my darkness. In your strength I can crush an army. With my God I can scale any wall. God's way is perfect. All the Lord's promises prove true. He is a shield for all who look to him for his protection. For who is God except the Lord? Who but our God is a solid rock? God is my strong fortress, and he makes my way perfect. He makes me as sure-footed as a deer, enabling me to stand on mountain heights. He trains my hands for battle. He strengthens my arm to draw a bronze bow. You have given me your shield of victory. Your help has made me great. You have made a wide path for my feet to keep them from slipping. I chased my enemies and destroyed them. I did not stop until they were conquered. I consumed them. I struck them down so they did not get up. They fell beneath my feet. You have armed me with strength for the battle. You have subdued my enemies under my feet. You placed my foot on their necks. I have destroyed all who hated me. They looked for help, but no one came to their rescue. They even cried to the Lord, but he refused to answer. I ground them as fine as the dust of the earth. I trampled them in the gutter like dirt. You gave me victory over my accusers. You preserved me as the ruler over nations. People I don't even know now serve me. Foreign nations cringe before me. As soon as they hear of me, they submit. They lose all their courage and come trembling from their strongholds. The Lord lives. Praise to my rock. May God, the rock of my salvation, be exalted. He is the God who pays back those who harm me. He brings down the nations under me and delivers me from my enemies. You hold me safe beyond the reach of my enemies. You save me from violent opponents. For this, O Lord, I will praise you among the nations. I will sing praises to your name. You give great victories to your king. You show unfailing love to your anointed, to David and all his descendants forever. So I feel like that is like so powerful. And the step 11 says a new hiding place, Bible reading, 2 Samuel 22 verses 1 through 33, which 33 is God is my strong fortress and he makes my way perfect. We sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. In the past, we used our addiction as a hiding place when life became overwhelming. Now that we are in recovery, life can at times feel even more overwhelming. We'll need a new place of refuge to escape the storms and find protection. King David experienced many battles. He said of God, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my Savior. My God is my rock in whom I find protection. He is my shield, the power that saves me, and my place of safety. I called on the Lord, who is worthy of praise, and he saved me from my enemies." Okay, so we just read that. There will always be times when we feel the need for a safe place, the need to run and hide. Oh yeah, that's why it was significant, because I was like so like in panic mode. I was like, I feel like I need to run. I feel like I need to get up. I feel like I'm in denial of this reality. Like it was just like it was a feeling, it was a feeling of like flight. Like I felt like I needed to run somewhere. And I reached for the Bible, and this is where it pointed me. The need to run and hide. God can be that hiding place. When we were in distress, surrounded by waves of death in our old life of sin, we called to God for help. He heard our cries and brought us to a place of safety. He's always there, ready to shield and protect us whenever we call on him. So, yeah, there we go. And now we are done. So if you dig my vibes, subscribe. Thank you so much for sharing this experience with me, for tuning in and allowing me to just be me here, in as much as I am able. And I wish you love and light. I choose love and light for you. I give it from myself to you. Receive it. And what else should I say? Should I say I have like little things that I say. God's got it. God's got it. Bless up. If you dig my vibe, subscribe. Love and light. We do a better love. I'm really out of practice. Love and light.